Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. In today's video from physics subject, force and laws of motion topic we are going to discuss. So our today's concept is children regarding equilibrium of a body. So a particle at rest or a particle moving with uniform velocity relative to an observer means for an observer, if he is observing one particle, if it is at rest or if it is in moving with uniform velocity, then it is said to be in state of equilibrium. The particle, it is said to be in state of equilibrium. So the particle which is at rest, which is at either rest or which is moving with uniform velocity with respect to one observer, it is said to be in equilibrium. So it does not mean that no force is acting on that. Whenever it is in equilibrium or whenever it is in rest or it is moving with uniform velocity, we should not think in such a manner that force is not acting in that case. Force is not acting on the body. Like that we should not think. Force may be acting on the body, but whose vector sum is 0. Means from this side one force will be acting, from this side another force will be acting. Both cancel each other and vector sum of all the forces acting on the body is 0. Sigma F. Sigma means sum of all forces acting on the body is 0. That's why the particle is in equilibrium, or the particle is continues to be in the state of rest or continues to be in the state of uniform motion. So, but in same equilibrium only, in equilibrium condition only, if it is at rest, if the particle is at rest, then that kind of equilibrium is said to be static equilibrium. The equilibrium state of rest is called static equilibrium. But another kind of equilibrium where the body is moving with uniform velocity, that state of equilibrium is considered as dynamic equilibrium. So in equilibriums we have two types. One is static, another one is dynamic. One is static equilibrium, another one is dynamic equilibrium. Next one. So let's learn about law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. So here, according to law of conservation of momentum, if there is no force acting on a system, then the momentum of the system remains unchanged. Or in another way, if a group of bodies are exerting force on each other, their total momentums remains conserved before and after the interaction, provided there is no external force acting on them. There is no external force acting on them. Means before collision, whatever momentum they have, suppose this is m1 u1. Momentum means product of mass and velocity. The momentum of body A is m1 u1 plus momentum acting on body 2. Momentum of body 2 is m2 u2. Means total momentum is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. If that is total momentum before collision, actually two bodies, they are moving. So when they hit with each other, during the time of hitting, forces are acting on the body. This body exerts force on that body exerts force on this body. two forces are opposite direction. One we can take it as F, another we can take it as minus F. So at that time, they are in contact with some force during collision. During collision time, they are under the effect of force. But after collision, this body will move with a different velocity. There will be no change in mass. This body will move with a different velocity. There will be no change in mass, but velocities will change. So during a collision only, the forces acts on the body, but after the collision, when they move apart, there will be no external force acting on the body. So at that time, momentum of first body is m1v1, momentum of second body is m2v2. Their sum is m1v1 plus m2v2. So before collision, whatever total momentum is there, it is equal to total momentum after the collision. So before collision, there was no external force. After collision, there was no external force. Only during the collision, force was acting between the bodies. So if there is no force acting on the system, either before collision, there is no force. After collision, there is no force. So before collision, as there is no force, the momentum of the system is equal to after collision, as there is no force, to this momentum. So that is the meaning of law of conservation of momentum. Means total momentum is neither destroyed nor created, but whatever total momentum is there in the absence of external force, that will be conserved. That will be conserved, or that will remains unchanged, or that will be conserved, or that will remains unchanged. Or here, if you see this, the two apples, they are coming and hitting. Why? When they hit with each other, at that time only force will act. After that, there will be no force acting on them. They will be moving with different velocities. Before hitting, their velocities are different. After hitting, their velocities are different. But before hitting, total momentum is equal to after hitting total momentum. Or you can take this example, billiards game. So before hitting this ball, red ball, before hitting red ball is under rest, and this white ball is moving. But when they hit with each other, the white ball will comes to rest and this will be moving. So total momentum before hitting equal to total momentum after hitting. Here hitting means two balls hitting with each other. That we have to consider. Not hitting with stone. That we are not talking about that. So these are the examples of law of conservation of momentum, children. So once again, let's repeat the definition. So in the absence of external force, the linear momentum of a particle or a body or a system remains constant. Means, and when F is 0, when F vector is 0, F vector means force vector is 0. So then momentum P will be constant. Or in the absence of external force, the linear momenta of individual particles can change. Means the momentum of first particle, the momentum of second particle, individually they may change. They may change. But total momentum of the whole system, whole system means including two particles, but it does not changes. It will remain constant. So that's why the individual particles linear momenta can change, but total linear momentum of whole system remains constant, does not changes. So this law of conservation of linear momentum is based on Newton's third law of motion, children. So that's why third law is called as law of momentum. Third law is called as law of momentum. Newton's first law is called law of inertia because it tells about inertia. Newton's second law is called law of acceleration. It defines about acceleration. Newton's third law is considered as law of momentums. So this Newton's third law of motion, this is the fundamental law of nature, and there is no exception to it. All the bodies which are in the nature, which are in the surroundings, they have to follow this law of conservation of linear momentum property or Newton's third law of motion. So this law is valid for only linear motion. Only for linear motion. Means the objects which are traveling in straight line, for that kind of motion only, this law will be valid. Here children, the internal forces cannot change the total momentum of the system. The internal forces, like forces between the atoms or between the subatomic particles, that internal forces which are acting inside the body or inside the particle, they cannot change the total momentum of the system. However, they may change momentum of each particle, individual particle. They may change the momentum of individual particles, but not the total momentum. So motion of rocket, firing of bullet from a gun, explosion of shell fired from a cannon are examples where we can apply the law of conservation of linear momentum. Let's see the example of a recoil of gun. So, one measure. If you observe this picture children, here there is an example of a recoil of gun. You can observe here, while we are firing with gun, the bullet is coming out, some part is coming from this side, and the back part of the barrel or this gun is going back. Means that is called recoil of gun. This is action. Action, which is the bullet coming out, is considered as action, and the gun is going back, is called reaction, is considered as reaction. So that's why in this case, both Newton's third law of motion and law of conservation of momentum, both we can observe in this case, in the case of recoil of gun. So this is example of law of conservation of momentum. So if a stationary gun fires a bullet horizontally, the total momentum of the gun and bullet is zero before firing. Before firing, bullet will be in rest position, gun will be in rest position, total momentum will be zero. But after firing, bullet will be going forward and gun will be going back. One will be positive, another will be negative. Both will get cancelled with one another. Again, total value will become zero. So that's why before firing and after firing, total momentum will be zero. Means total momentum does not changes. So here, let m be the mass of the gun and small m be the mass of bullet. Initially, both gun and bullet are rest. So according to conservation of momentum, m v bar, mass of the bullet, velocity of the bullet, mass of the gun, velocity of the gun, total sum is zero. Total sum is zero. So hence, if you want to find v bar, velocity of the gun, how we can find means this mv bar will come towards right hand side. It will become minus small m, small v bar stands for mass of bullet, velocity of bullet, by capital M stands for mass of gun. So by this formula, we can find out recoil velocity of the gun, means the backward velocity of the gun. Recoil velocity of the gun we can find with this formula. So why we are using negative sign here means, what does this negative sign represent means? So both V bar, capital V bar and small v bar, they are in opposite direction. So bullet moves in forward direction, guns moves in backward direction. So means gun moving in backward direction, it is called recoil. Gun recoils. So like that. Suppose if the gun is like this is the velocity of the bullet, this is the mass of the bullet, this is the mass of gun, this is the velocity of gun, recoil velocity of gun, and this is the recoil force acting on the gun. And this front part force is accelerating force on the bullet. The force acting in the forward direction, in this direction, in the direction of bullet, is called accelerating force because it is increasing the velocity of the bullet. The force acting in the direction of bullet is called accelerating force, whereas the force acting on the direction of movement of gun is called recoil force. Recoil force. So here small v is called muzzle velocity of the bullet or velocity of the bullet with respect to gun. So if you want to find velocity of gun, recoil velocity of the gun, we can find with the formula capital V bar equal to minus mv bar by capital M. This is the formula to find recoil velocity of the gun. Next one, we have explosion. It is also an example of for law of conservation of momentum. So in an explosion, linear momentum is conserved, but kinetic energy is not conserved. Only the linear momentum is conserved, but kinetic energy is not conserved. Kinetic energy means the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. By virtue of its motion. So that is not conserved. The kinetic energy of the system after explosion increase. So if you take any explosive material like a bomb, before explosion it will be in rest position. But once, suppose if this is the bomb, once if it explodes, it will go, the bomb will pierce into pieces and all the particles will go in all directions with very great force. With very great force. Means the kinetic energy of the all particles increases. Before explosion, they are all under rest. Kinetic energy of all the particles is zero. But once the explosion happens, the kinetic energy of all the particles will increases enormously. From the bomb, from one position, they will go in all directions with great speed. So kinetic energy increases. So why this kinetic energy increases means, this is because of the internal force. This is because of the internal energy of the system. So we call it as, actually bombs, we call them as nuclear bomb. We call them as nuclear bomb. So the bomb will be having some internal energy called nuclear energy. So which is responsible for explosion and which is responsible for increase of kinetic energy. Increase of kinetic energy. So if a stationary shell like a nuclear bomb breaks into fragments, the two pieces will be moving in opposite directions with velocities in inverse ratios of their masses. Means if the bomb divided into two fragments, small mass m1, big mass m2. So then smaller mass velocity will be more, V1, bigger mass, velocity will be less. Means the velocities are inversely, there will be in inverse ratio to the masses. So that's why V1 by V2 ratio, velocity ratio will be inverse ratio of masses, M2 by M1. V1 by V2 equal to M2 by M1. But V1, V2 both are in opposite direction. So that's why for the whole ratio, we have to keep minus sign, which describes that both are opposite in direction. So actually masses are scalars. They will be not having any direction. Velocities are vectors. They will be having negative sign, positive sign. But that same sign we can keep here, because velocities ratio is equal to masses inverse ratio, and minus sign will come here. So children, that's all for today children. So remaining topics we can learn in our next video. So thank you for watching our video children. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates. Please visit our website www.aimstoday.in for information regarding previous online classes, quizzes, worksheets, activities, English classes, coding skills. Thank you children. Have a good day.